So first of all, in becoming a massage therapist, it was something that never really crossed my mind. Um, and all of a sudden, one day, a cousin of mine was like, "Man, you probably make a great massage therapist." And so I was like, okay. So I looked into it, did some research. I'm like, yeah, I think I can do this. And so I checked into some stuff back home, and it wasn't going to work out for me. And somebody else mentioned a school here in Memphis. So I checked it out. Everything went well with the interview and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drop everything here in Tupelo and I'm picking up and I'm moving to Memphis so I can go to school and pursue this career. So yeah, I moved here. I came here. I had what? I didn't have a job. I had like $300 in my pocket, no place to stay.
Hey everybody, I'm back with another episode of So What Success Stories. And today I have the privilege and the pleasure to be speaking with my friend, my personal massage therapist, super supporter, fellow entrepreneur, all that and some more. His name is LeWinfred Shack, and he is the owner of Touch Therapy. And I have had the privilege of working with Shack. It's been 7-8 years. I don't know. It's been a minute, but we have gotten really, really close over these years. And I just think he's awesome, an awesome, amazing person. And can't wait to talk to him. Shaq, tell us a little bit about yourself.
What you want to know? Let's see. You already said I'm a massage therapist, so I've been in the industry 19 years this year. So I'm coming up on my 20th year. So trying to figure out how I'm gonna do all of that, what I'm gonna do for next
Big
year.
celebration.
But yeah, so I've been doing it for this is my 19th year, and I'm transitioning now to add in some wellness transformation coaching to it. But I do restorative massage, which means I'm trying to help fix stuff, heal stuff, get you back to proper homeostasis in your body and everything. And so, yeah, so, after all the years of doing it, I'm seeing that there's more to it than just a massage. So I'm trying to help people all the way around so they can have a total transformation now. So that's the direction you're getting in.
I apologize for interrupting. One thing you've definitely done for me is you have educated me a lot on the massage business and the necessary nature of massage and how it can heal. Okay, before we get into the questions and everything, though, so you're a massage therapist, but you're more than that. What are your other really, really important jobs? Your dad, your husband. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm married, 3 kids. 15, 11, and 7. And everybody's birthday is like within these 2 months. So it's about to be 16 and 8 for my 2 boys. And my baby girl just had her birthday at the first of the month. So, but yeah, so yeah, I'm married. Yeah, what else you want to know?
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Tupelo, Mississippi.
From Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yeah, and I moved to Memphis in 2003, specifically to get into the massage industry. So yeah, I came here and then just been here ever since. Been doing my thing.
So you came here specifically to pursue massage, but you have really made a name for yourself. I think it's almost synonymous with massage here in Memphis. And people who know massage know Shack. And I count it a blessing to know you as my massage therapist, but again, as somebody who has donated your services to the Love Yourself event since the very first Love Yourself event. which for those who don't know is part of the So What Foundation, the main fundraiser for the So What Foundation. Okay, so Shaq, in this program, I have what I call the So What Success System. And it's my belief that if anybody can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, they can have So What success. And that is success in spite of anything you face, any challenges you face. So Shaq, I've gotten to know you over these years, and I know it has not been an easy journey for you. And so I know that you know something about So What success. Talk to me a little bit about some of the obstacles you've had to overcome to get to where you are today.
Yeah, so as I began to try to use all of my gifts, I've dealt with things like imposter syndromes, thinking I'm not good enough, or thinking, why should somebody listen to me? Why should they read what I write? And things like that. So that has been my biggest obstacle as far as moving forward in my business, because of course I'm doing massage, and after we do the intake and I figure out, we find out what's going on with you, it's pretty much quietness, unless you decide to talk while you get a massage. So so just moving into utilizing and using those other gifts that I know I have, and that people have told me that are great, good, or whatever. Just trying to use those things and do it, in the midst of living life, So that's been an obstacle, but I've been able to overcome it, and so I am moving forward in some things, and so yeah.
I can appreciate that and appreciate you sharing that. And I know a little something about imposter syndrome. I've experienced it. I speak about it and try to help other people to deal with it because it's a real thing. But I also think about other parts of your journey, which takes me to the second part. The So What Success System is learning how to eliminate excuses. And so you mentioned that you moved to Memphis to pursue your career as a massage therapist. But I know from knowing you and talking to you over these past several years that you had to find your way to knowing that was something that you even wanted to do, right? So talk about your journey into figuring that out and some of the excuses you had to eliminate to get to where you are today.
So first of all, in becoming a massage therapist, it was something that never really crossed my mind. And all of a sudden, one day, a cousin of mine was like, "Man, you probably make a great massage therapist." And so I was like, okay. So I looked into it, did some research. I'm like, yeah, I think I can do this. And so I checked into some stuff back home, and it wasn't going to work out for me. And somebody else mentioned a school here in Memphis. So I checked it out. Everything went well with the interview and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drop everything here in Tupelo, and I'm picking up and I'm moving to Memphis so I can go to school and pursue this career. I moved here. I came here. I didn't have a job. I had like $300 in my pocket, no place to stay. But through it all, God made a way through each step. So I ended up finding out I had a cousin here who I didn't know. I knew his dad. Dad's my great uncle. So I grew up around his dad, didn't know him. So his dad put us in contact with each other. And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, I got this little piece of house, it's bad livable, but you're welcome to come and stay here, And so I was like, cool, okay. So I went to the house, I cleaned out a little room and everything, put my stuff in there, and I started going to school. And I am good with getting to know people and talk to people. So in being in school, one of my classmates, they had a sibling who worked at a mental hospital. So they mentioned them to me, and I went to the mental hospital and started working. So ended up with a job, and within 6 months, I was out of my cousin's house in my own house. I was working, didn't realize how much being in the mental health field would contribute to my journey, to my knowledge and education and all of that. And so um, stuff just began to formulate together. And so since then, I've done a lot of things since then, because we have this thing called survival mode, where when you are afraid to step out into something, one thing you do know how to do, and it's pretty much what we are taught to do, is to survive. And so I just began to utilize anything I was good at. I was working in security, working in a bank, because I'm good with numbers or whatever. And so yeah, I just did whatever I needed to do. Um, and sometimes I look back, I was like, you know what, I should have stepped out a little sooner and everything. But then again, I look back at the people I've met, the journey I've had, the experiences I've had, and I was like, you know what, things worked out like they were supposed to. So I'm okay with my journey. I do feel like sometimes I am doing some catch up, but that's the great thing about life. You can be losing for 5-10 years, and all of a sudden you can win in a month or two. So you know what I'm saying? And so that's what's beginning to happen in my life and everything. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, man. So I have to embrace the journey and everything. So
I love it. I love it. And you talked about not having a job, and not having a place to live, not even really having a place to live, and eliminating those excuses. That didn't keep you from going after what you decided was your goal and what the route that you were going to take. You made a choice. You made a choice. You were going to be a massage therapist, and you figured it out. And I know a little something about survival mode too. And you scrapping and fighting and figuring it out until you get where you need to get. And I think it's just really cool because, like I said, today, especially here in Memphis and even beyond Memphis, your name is synonymous with massage. People know massage and know Shack as a massage therapist. And then it was because you eliminate those excuses and you move forward. And then you also made that choice. So talk about the third part of the Soul Success System, which is calculated choices. Talk about some of the choices that you've made along your journey.
So I've made a lot of choices. I don't know how much was calculated, because that's always been a part of me that has been kind of wonky. Always been okay, I want to do it and just do it, not really putting any real plans in place, but just believing that I could do it and just stepping out and doing it. So I am now starting to make more calculated decisions and things like that, putting plans in places so that I'm not just in a place blind or whatnot. And I'm trying to learn to embrace that, because I actually kind of like being in a place where there's no set checklist or line of things, but I realize that in some of it I do need to have those checks and balances in place. But my life has been a journey of, it's been all about the journey, not necessarily about the destination. And so, even before we had that whole GPS thing, I mean, I didn't use a map. I'm like, just tell me which way I need to start out, and I get there, eventually. And so that's kind of how I live. And so I'm trying to find that balance now, because I feel like I still need to live in that space, and also be able to balance in having checks and balances and things like that. But I never want to totally get away from that, because I think it's imagination and creativity and all of that. And so I think all of that is important as you are being an entrepreneur or intrapreneur, things like that. So I'm finding that balance, and things are working out pretty good.
I love it. Well, one of the choices that I know you've made that we've talked about is going from strictly massage or 60-minute massage, 90-minute massage, and just having those massage programs into having your wellness program. Talk a little bit more about your business and your decision in your business and kind of restructuring what your offering is.
Yeah, so as far as massage, I'm moving away from offering 60-minute services as just a one-off service, because a lot of times, because of the type of work that I do and the people who come to me, it's hard to rectify those issues in just an hour. And so I'm doing away with the one-off hour sessions, and I've moved to just 90-minute and 2-hour sessions as far as one-offs. And for somebody, I need to put a plan in place. Then we can put the hour sessions in place, because then each time they come, then we have a plan on what we're going to work on today. So if you jacked up from head to toe, I need to spend a little time, in all the areas in order to get everything back in balance. And so, yeah, it's hard to do that in an hour. If I have, especially if I've never dealt, worked on you before and things like that. So I have to learn how your body reacts to certain techniques and modalities and, things like that. And so, yeah. So as far as that part of it, I am moving away from those one-off sessions, doing more treatment plans. It's something I've always wanted to do. So I had to actually just step out and start saying, hey, I'm going to do the treatment plans. And so even when, their schedule might be looking kind of thin, sometimes I have to, stand my ground and say, this is what I'm going to do. And when I do that, schedule end up filling up, or I get the right people, to work with, and I get those people who do need that plan in place in order to get them back in balance, within themselves. And so, yeah, it's that's where I'm headed in the massage business. And then as far as the whole wellness transformation thing, I'm launching a wellness program for people, for clergy people. So for ministers, preachers, pastors, and things like that. We know that it's a lot of burnout that happens in those type of positions. And so I have, a formula to help them get past their burnout, to get back to life, get their energy up, get their health up, and things like that. And so that is this new program that I'm offering now.
Well, I think I find that fascinating. I think it's really unique. And it marries another part of who you are. And we haven't talked about that a whole lot, but your passion around ministry. And what probably a lot of people don't know is that you are a very good speaker and a very good writer. And I just love that. And I also just like in general with people to be able to bring kind of all parts of who they are into what they do. And that's definitely what I see with you, Shack. And again, I love the conversations that we have when we're able to just talk about business, And it's been cool. Well, knowing your journey, knowing a little bit about your journey, I know that you are a man who is successful. You've implemented the So What Success system without realizing it, maybe. Learning how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, calculate choices, and to achieve So What Success. Success in spite of all the challenges you've been through. But how do you personally define success?
I would think I would have to define personal success like Earl Nightingale says, and I'm paraphrasing. Success is being able to do what you set out to do. It's being able to make a living in the business that you've chosen to go into, whether it's not the business, it's not the financial place you want to be right now, but are you, do you have what you need? Are you able to live life a little and things like that? just being able to do what you set out to do, and to be able to work in your passion, because we know if you're working in your passion, it doesn't seem like work, but just being able to work in your passion to be able to see things through, yeah, and just to be able to live your vision.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, one last question for you. Okay. What advice would you give somebody watching this? So whether it's a fellow entrepreneur, or somebody, a student, a young person, because I know you're passionate about helping young people too. What's some general advice you would give?
You got to put yourself and your health first. Your body is your biggest investment, because it's hard to live out your vision if you are not healthy. If you're not mentally healthy, if you're not physically healthy, it's just hard to live out that vision, because you have all this other worry and anxiety and stress that you have to deal with. And that worry, anxiety, and stress begins to make things even more stressful. And so sometimes you have to just pull back, put yourself first, decide to get healthy. And along with that, the first step to that would be to get some rest. Get some rest and have some fun. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in rest that you heal. It is in rest that you get ideas. When you have fun creates creativity and things like that. So you got to put yourself first. In the wellness program that I went through myself and the coaching that I received myself, one of the things was putting your health first is like printing money. And so we look at all the billions of dollars that is lost every year to people calling in to work and things like that. If we are losing that many billions to sickness, how many billions can you gain in health?
I love it.
And so when you put your health first and everything, it's like printing money, because you have a wealth that you can pull from. That's and it's not only money, but you just have this wealth that you can pull from, for your life. And so that would be a piece of advice. And then I guess the last piece would be your own best boss, or be your best boss. I put it like that. Because many people, they leave the workplace and they begin to work in their own businesses, their own organizations, and things like that. And when you do that, you have the opportunity to be your best boss. You can create your vacation time, your personal time off. You can set up your own way of investment and retirement and all that stuff. And so, if you were tired of being driven on the plantation, then don't drive yourself on the plantation when you're your own boss. So
that's some good information, some good advice for the entrepreneur, huh?
Yeah. So I think I was finished. I thought you was about to say something. So.
No, so I was gonna say this as we wrap. So you said get some rest, take care of your health, have some fun. And I was just gonna close on this note that I think you might appreciate is don't forget to get a massage.
Yeah, get a massage. Come see me.
Don't forget.
You should be Shack. So.
You should be Shack. Hashtag have you been Shack? Hashtag you should be Shack. Thank you, Shack. I thank you for this interview. I thank you for this time. I thank you for the conversations and the lessons that you teach me, and the ideas we're able to bounce off of each other. And I thank you for all you've given to the organization that I started. And thank you for being an awesome friend. Have a good one. Thank you, Shack.
All right. I just want to say thank you for, I think you have a awesome platform, and for you to invite me to be a part of your platform, little old me, it's an honor. So I appreciate you for, reaching out and inviting me to do this. I do hope it is what you hoped it would be. So, yeah.
Absolutely. You have an incredible story, and I'm just honored that you shared it. Thank you, Shaq.
Thank you. Thank you.